Where you from? Man, I'm from down in the valley.
I got people trying to wish and pray that I'ma fall about it, all about it till we spoke in person. Don't wanna talk about it now, huh? Oh, you sound tough, toying with them, don't get wound up. How you wound up? Another number in the round up. Put the town up, built the sling up.
You mean like San Antonio?
Bounce up,
Nah, man. Farther.
got the east side flow. I'm a giant in the space like
Portal
FIFA. All the
956.
kids singing
V's up,
along like
player.
EIO. Every time when they see my show, thinking that it happened overnight.
Let's start the show, Wattis.
All right, what's good, DITV? Today we have a good one. Someone I wanted to speak to for a long time, especially with his last name being my last name, so represent fam, right? Mishak Rivas from Weslaco High School, the name that comes up in pretty much every conversation, right? When you talk about the RGV greats, finished his career, if I'm not mistaken, almost 7,000 yards rushing and 100 touchdowns. Is that right?
Yeah, around
Sound
6,800, 96, 97 touchdowns, something like that.
Yeah, almost there. A Valley great. Mishak, thank you for taking your time. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I love nothing more than to talk sports at all times.
Yes, sir. I know you're a Texans fan. I saw a lot of Texans love. So we definitely maybe next year we can get you on during NFL. We can talk some NFL football. I think that would be kind of fun.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. I would love to talk nothing more than about my Texans, the whole
Yeah.
RGV.
Yeah, I got a bunch of ideas. I think once we get this kind of round of getting to know everybody, once we do that, I want to get people on just to talk sports, right? The Valley lingo and have some fun. So I plan on doing that. But what I want to do first is do some rapid fire, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
I'm a big hip hop head, so I want to know where you're at with the Kendrick versus Drake. Who you got?
Oh, I feel like that was already a while ago, but I had Kendrick from the
Hmm.
start. Me being more of like a guy who relates to kind of real world like issues more than like the flashy hip hop stuff. Kendrick to me spoke a little bit deeper. He got me through some issues when I was going through some things when I was a little younger. So
Yeah. Yeah, he has a lot of messages within his songs that people have to listen to, and you got to keep replaying it to hear it. So I'm
yeah,
a big Kendrick fan. I like Drake too. I think Drake's one of those dudes that people don't give him enough credit with his lyricist stuff,
yeah,
but it's only because he has a lot of Loverboy songs, right? He's got a lot of those songs where they think he's soft. I don't think he's soft, but so I
nah,
like that Kendrick. Barbecue or tacos? Which one do you prefer?
ooh, ah, it depends on the day, I guess. But I think because tacos are more like known to just be at an instant rather than trying to grill the barbecue all day. It's the work process for me, so I got to go with tacos on that one.
Favorite taco spot?
Ooh, anyone that has tacos de mistake. To be honest, I'm not picky.
Yeah, I'm a pastor guy, so I'm a
Okay.
anywhere people don't like it, I like pastor, so that's a good one. Are you a cook? Are you big on the grill, or are you that guy, or what's up with that?
I just started to love again maybe during the football season this last year. I took maybe like a couple years off. Not that I hung up the apron or anything, but I just kind of was on the grill. But then like one day came and father-in-law came by. I saw him cooking, and then like he took off for a little bit, so I kind of got on, and then I didn't finish up, but I just kind of made sure everything was still even kill on the grill, and I was like, man, I kind of miss it, so I went right
Yeah.
back to it.
Yeah, you got to get ready for the heat though in the valley, right? So you're going to be out there cooking, you're going to be sweating, right? So you got to have
Yeah.
something cold and a
Yep.
good change of the shirt when you're a barbecue guy. So
Yeah.
I feel that
Rags for
too. I'm
sure.
not really, I warm up meat, right? I don't really get too crazy, but I cook a good steak, which I just ate today, and then frying some fish is always good. Like that's,
Yeah.
man, to me that's money. I want to take it back to high school. What was your favorite pregame song back in high school?
Ooh. Um.
Because what year were you in high school? That was
Oh,
2008. So was
2008. That
that?
was my senior year. Yeah, so like a lot of good music around that time, like Lil Wayne, Lil
Hmm.
Jon, Ti. Maybe I think I was listening a lot to Big Things Poppin'. Yeah,
Big things
yeah, for sure.
popping.
Yeah. Who else? Lil Jon. He had his whole CD album that was just like all hype music. So plenty of songs on that one for sure got me up. Lil Scrappy.
Yep.
Just a lot of like guys that got real crunk, I guess.
Yeah, I interviewed the foot doctor Mata from Los
Uh,
Fresnos, the sparkly guy, and
yeah.
he was a Soldier Boy guy.
Oh,
So that brought
yeah,
back a lot of
no,
memories with
that
the
was
Soldier
really
Boy. I was like,
pretty.
oh, I remember that
Yeah.
song, and I did a quick edit for him with his highlights, non HD, right? Because you guys are old school, right? There was no HD back then, my boy. But yeah, so Soldier Boy was a big one. Last
Yeah.
question on rapid fire. What does 956 Pride mean to you?
It's a culture, man. You have to be here to understand what it means to people. Me being born here, raised here, knowing the hardships that you go through just to kind of make it to anything else. Because people don't expect a lot from the panhandle down here. You know, that borderline, they're like, nah, whatever. So, you know, when you go out and you make it big and people ask where you're from, you know, the area code, where's that at? Or whatever the case, or you say where you're at. Like for me, I say I'm from Weslaco. A lot of people get them mixed up with Mexico. So, you
Oh
know, it's
yeah,
kind of like, well, you know, Mexico, and I know by McAllen. Oh, I know where McAllen is, blah blah blah. But it's like no, like now that we've made more noise, especially because you know, shout out to the girls softball team that won state a couple
yeah,
years ago.
huge, right?
Yeah, like now that's like a big, really big feather in their cap. Not only that, it puts the city on the map and stuff like that too. So recognition has been changed a lot since I graduated, anyway. But it's cool to be recognized now as a place that like is there's hidden gems. You know, you just got to keep looking to see where they're at. There's a lot down here for sure.
Yeah, I interviewed Matt Stepp. I'm gonna keep on name dropping, but that was pretty cool because he's not from here, but man, he was reciting all the spots to go eat, how much he loved the different stadium, and he was
Yeah,
talking about how the Valley didn't get as much love, but now it's starting to get more as a place to go rather than just to be, right? So I agree with that, and I think one of the reasons why I named my handle Down in the Valley because people ask you like, where are you from? Right? And I'm like, oh, I'm from South Texas. They're like, what, like San Antonio? Like, nah, man, way farther down than that. So that's one of the reasons I used down in the valley because I was like, oh, I live down in the valley. So that's a big one. I do want to bring up that non HD stuff for you so we can reminisce a little bit. We got some good highlights from you. The first one at Texas State, I think it's your first touchdown.
yeah. So we called that a sail route. And with that one, it was just I was the third man in the slot. Coach Bush, you know, the mastermind behind the play, was like, "Look, don't even try to run it sharp. Round it out because they're not going to be expecting you to cut it." Sure enough, I rounded it out, and man, it came out beautifully. I believe it was Clint on a rollout that threw the ball, and he put it right on the money on the sideline, and I had to toe tap it. I did, and I rolled, held on to the ball with my hands. I didn't even like bring it to my body. Coach Brown, shout out to Coach Brown, Kevin Brown, my receivers coach is always like, look, if you can hold on to the ball with just your hands and show that you have it at the end of the play, he's like, there's no doubt
Yep.
that they'll call it a catch. Sure enough, man, the referee nodded his head, yeah, and gave me the nod, and I was like, man, it was really special, man. It was a really cool moment for sure.
Now I'm going to put the names together. Coach Bush, like UTRGV Coach Bush,
Yes, yes,
was
absolutely,
he your
Travis Bush.
coach at Texas State? Talk about that.
He was my offensive coordinator and my recruiting coach. He was a recruiting coach down
No
here.
way.
Um, yeah, yeah. Real big shout out to Coach Bush, man. I actually got to go see the boys in the next couple of weeks because they already started off season ball. But yeah, what game was it? The PSJA high game that I played my sophomore year. Obviously, you can't be in talks yet, but you can kind of get yourself to that point to where you can be seen if they're looking at somebody else. You happen to have a breakout game, and
Yep.
hey, so that's what happened. My sophomore year, I ended up having a punt return for a touchdown and two rushing touchdowns that game, and I had like over 150 yards rushing and like 100 yards on special teams. Uh, so after the game, he had went to the campus that next week because obviously it's on a Friday, and he had ran into me, and he was like, "Hey, great job out there." He's like, "Keep that up. We'll definitely be in touch." That was it. Like it wasn't no like offer or anything like that. Like it was just like you know he
Crazy.
recognized, yeah, he recognized game, I guess, and I was like, oh, like I didn't even know what to like think of it because I saw the Bobcat on his shirt and I was like who I didn't even I didn't even know like the team like that. You know what I mean at that time. But then the more research I did and I was like, okay. And then sure enough, like senior year came and like granted I had offers, but it's all redshirt stuff. And for me, I wasn't looking to redshirt. I had
Mm,
always kind of that my talent was good enough to have me playing, as soon as I got to college as a true freshman. And Coach Bush thought the same way. And he told my mom, granted, a little bit of competition to get the starting spot, he'll be playing. And sure enough, man, like the first play of the game, I got a jet sweep just like I did in high school. And the funniest thing is, if I would have continued on the same trajectory as I did my freshman year in high school, I would have scored. And
Yeah.
I ended up cutting it up field, and I got tackled by a linebacker on the inside. So the next day,
They're a little faster up there, right?
yeah, the next day on film, coach was like, and Shaq, like, you need to trust your blockers. He's like, you weren't looking like you were supposed to. He's like, watch if you just keep running outside. And sure enough, my guy Cam Luke, shout out to Cam, was an absolute dog at receiver. Was manhandling his guy and turned him all the way in. And
Mm.
me looking at the first hole that opened up, I cut up field. And granted, I got like a 15-yard gain or something, but if I would have just went outside, that was six because me hitting the corner, I don't care if it was college or not, I'm not getting caught.
They're
You know what
not
I mean?
catching your boy.
No, yeah, I'm not getting caught. So we all thought the same thing, and luckily I ended up getting to score that same game. So it just happened to pay it back later. but
What a
but
cool
yeah,
story, man! Because I didn't even know that he was your offensive coordinator before this.
oh
So we're trying to drop some nuggets. That's a huge one for me. Not even
yeah,
knowing that Coach Bush recruited you and had you in his radar, and that was a pretty cool. Like I see some track stuff in there. I'm a track guy. I was a shot putter, right? I honestly think you were a better track athlete than a football player myself. Because I know those numbers. I think you had a split of like 45, didn't you, at one of the track meets at the 4x4?
yeah. It was if it wasn't my junior year at the state meet, then it was my senior year at the regional final.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I remember coming out like knowing that the goal for me was making sure that I had a chance for my friend to get to state and compete.
The four, yeah,
The
that's
year
cool.
prior, the year prior, he went as a backup, and I was like, man, he's good enough to compete. Like that's always been my thing. Like if you're good enough to compete with me, from a young age, I was always highly competitive. At this point, we're sharpening iron. Like I can't get
Yeah.
any better if you guys are getting better. So I always told him his name is Eric. Um, our senior year, he breaks his arm, and during the football season,
Oh
or
man.
his collarbone, I think, or his shoulder. I don't. Yeah, I had to go ask back and ask him. But I remember thinking, damn, like he might not get to play unless we get to like the third round of the playoffs. And sure
Mm.
enough, we got to the third round of the playoffs, so we got to suit up. You know what I'm saying? Which I thought was
Mm-hmm.
pretty cool. Um, but like again, he didn't get to play too much. But my thing was okay in track season. Now we can kind of like really focus because it was me, him, and my friend Jerry, and we were all seniors, and we kind of knew that the team fell on our shoulders.
Yeah.
So the high point getters like every meet, all of us were averaging at least 30 to 40 points, and I was averaging almost 50 points a meet. At 10 per, not
That's
including.
crazy.
Yeah, I was averaging at least 40 to 50 points a meet.
Oh
Like it
yeah, you
was
got the 100, 200, 400 long jump, four by
yeah,
four, four by one.
yeah. So, but a lot of people, they just kind of like go out there, whatever, just do their thing. Oh, I'm a sprinter. All right, that's fine. Like
Nah,
I
you
know
were
what I.
everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to be the best at every event that I can be the best at. So anyway, long story short, we end up winning district, and back then it wasn't no area, it was just straight
Mm-mm.
regionals. Like it was district, regionals, and state. Um, so we get to regionals, and like the first day, you know what? No, we did go to an area meet because we went to go ski out Smithson Valley because they were the fastest
Mm.
team coming region at that point. And then it was like us and then like Wagner or something like that, like Congress Wagner. So our goal was not ever like the valley, like we not like no disrespect, but like we knew we had the fastest quarter milers in the valley, so we knew that we were a good team.
Well, you guys ran like
But
a 3:15, didn't you? 3:17, something
our
like
our,
that.
our all time fastest was 3:15.98.
Yep.
But my
Man, that's
senior year,
moving.
yeah, my senior year we got to like 3:17, I think, maybe 3:16, possibly. I can't remember. But I remember again going into the final. thinking if we can just be within like 50 meters of um, Smithson Valley, me and Jerry both thought we can
It's
get him.
on.
We can, yeah, we can get him. Like we both thought that, and even Eric was like, all I gotta do is run a 49, and we're gonna. He was like, if I can just, he's like, if I can break 49, we're good. And I think he was like 49.8 or something. So he did his part. But our second leg, I don't ever want to put pressure on people. That's
Right.
not their, like, I'm the guy who's supposed to take care of all that issue. Well,
Leadership.
they had a runoff. Him and a sophomore and a freshman had a runoff because they were running about the same time. Low 51, high 50, mid 50. Something we can manage. Even like a low 50 sometimes. But now at this point, they're running lower 50, mid 50. So we know we can manage. And the freshman guy ended up winning over the sophomore.
Whoa.
We go with him. Hey, if you're the hot hand, you're the hot hand. You know what I'm saying? Um, so sure enough, man, he lays an egg and runs like a 52 or 53.
The
And I
second
was like,
leg?
yeah, at second leg.
Oh no.
So yeah, so we went from like literally second to like sixth. And I was like, oh, there's so much room to make up. And the funny thing was, me and Jerry, and this is like a pre-story to the story now, like that we're at in this moment. So go back to the 400 final right before that me and Jerry won. There was a guy at San Antonio Marshall. His name was Joey Roberts. He was supposed to compete, but he false started, so he ended
Oh.
up scratching. And honestly, I it's a toss up between me, him, and Jerry in regionals for sure. Like in the final, like as close as me and Jerry finished, it probably would have been even closer between me, him, and Jerry. So, you
Wow.
know, shout out to my guy Joey. I don't know where he's at now in life. I hope he's doing well. Um, okay, so fast forward to this point, Joey ran second leg for his school, so he ate like
Oh, he's probably
everybody. He ate everybody up. The
yeah.
man probably got 46 leg. He was
Ooh.
so he brought his team up into second. McAllen Memorial passed us. Um, La Jolla passed us. Smithson Valley was already ahead of us. Converse Wagner, I think, was around there too. Like everybody had damn near passed us. So I was thinking, you can't kick or rest, or your rest time is now cut from like. I would usually start my kick at around 2:15, just getting back into gear, like to start kicking for the last 200 or whatever.
Right.
Well, this time I was kicking at 250.
Yeah, you got to get up there.
So that and from there on, I was in a dead like 85 to 90% full speed sprint. Like there
And in a
was
quarter
no
mile, that's crazy, man. That's insane for a 400-meter.
absolutely yeah. So, but I knew that I can't make up that time. So when you see me start to shift, the guy from McAllen Memorial comes with me, and then somebody else tries to go with me. But then we get to the top of the curve, and they just disappear. Like
Yeah, they can't
they're
do it.
not by me anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still eating people like alive. It gets to the point where I'm like within 15 to 20 meters of first, maybe 30, and from where I was at, the gap was like at least 180 meters. So to make that much room up in that amount of time, and to run that low of a clock, I had clocked it once like at a 46 something, low 46, damn near
Right.
45. But you know, I knew that I had that in me. I just didn't know when it would resurface, and
Yeah.
and that's what it did. Other than that, it did again at state. But even then, I should have ran faster. I kicked too late. If I would have kicked like I did at regionals at state, I win state hands down.
Wow.
I know for sure I win state because the winning time was like a 46.9, and
Oh, that's
I ran
crazy.
I ran a 47.1. It was that close, and
You
I
know, but the
remember,
the 400 though, that's part of the hard part about the 400 is that if you kick too early, you're donezo. And a
yeah,
lot of people don't want to have that happen, right?
nope,
So if you say you're kicking at 250, that's a long ways to be in
yeah,
top
bro, like
gear. So it's probably more of your own internal head thinking, man, I can't I can't start the kick yet, right?
Yeah,
Rather than knowing what you can and can't do, because that 400 is all what's that lactic acid, all that buildup from the 400, just your body is exploding. To be honest with you,
especially
so
late. Especially late. You get down there, that monkey gets on your back. It's really about technique, man. If you got good form, hey, more power to you because by that time your knees are trying to drop, but you got to pick them up. But that's why I tell my athletes in my peer speed training, all of them, I don't care who they are, big, small, big guy, big girl, little girl, doesn't matter. Your knees have to come up to get those hips going. That's how you're going to get faster for sure.
yeah, now pure speed is definitely something we'll talk about. But yeah, I liked honestly your track career to me was more impressive than your football career, and that's some people don't they only think of you as a football player sometimes, but track was big. I did want to take it back to Weslaco because you had mentioned you were born in Harlingen but grew up in Weslaco. What was life like before high school in Weslaco? What do you remember? What stands out to you before high school in Weslaco? Before, you were probably still something big in junior high, but what was it like then before high school?
Man, if you want me to be frank, the same. I've
Yeah.
always had a really big following. It goes back to my track career, and you're right about that.
Yep.
At 7, I went to compete at the AAU Junior Olympics, and in the long jump. Hold on, excuse me, gotta adjust my
Now you're
area.
good.
Um, so I end up, going to long jump, winning regionals, winning state, and then competing at the Junior Olympics in Norfolk, Virginia. And I got third. Well, I got third with the jump, and at 7 years old, I'm jumping 14 feet 6 inches.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah, right. So when I tell people
I
that, they're
didn't know
like,
that.
"Really?"
So
And I'm
seven
like,
years old, you were already in a national level athlete.
"Yes, absolutely." Like if they had like backtracks, I
Wow.
could still
Okay.
have pictures and stuff to where I was at the meet and whatnot. I don't know if the track is still green or not, but it was green when I was up there at Norfolk. Um, but
Mm.
yeah, it was a cool venture to be in. And for the next couple years, I was qualifying for nationals, and then it went
Oh,
to
so
the
you
400.
already had everybody on you since you were young.
Yeah, like I had my first TV interview at 7 years old when I qualified. Um, so to me, it was spotlight early, and then on top of that, before me was my brother. Shout out to my brother Kelshaw. He
Yeah.
was the Weslaco guy before I was the Weslaco guy. The only difference was he got hurt his senior year. He missed 4 games and still was like around a 1,500 yard rusher, I think, just about. So to play like 6 games and have that many yards rushing, imagine if you would have had a whole slate. You know what I mean? So, and
Yeah.
he
There's a
also had like,
YouTube video on your brother. I saw it, and I was like, wait, I didn't know you had a brother that was that nice because I wasn't here, right?
oh yeah, yeah,
So I didn't know that. So I saw a video on your brother. Would you say he's probably the best athlete you saw growing up, or was there anybody else in Westlaco that you were like, man, that guy is nice?
no, I always thought that nobody was better than my brother, and that's just the
Mm,
honest truth. But because I saw what he was doing, and nobody else was doing that, so I was like, y'all
yeah.
don't move like him, like y'all don't got wiggle and speed and stuff like he does. So I was like, I think I got that too. So sure enough, I started playing football, man, at an early age, and it went the same way. And sure enough, like the buzz started right after I made nationals. I started playing football the second year, not the first year. We went undefeated, and I scored like 50 touchdowns or like 60 touchdowns or something like that in Pee Wees. You know what I'm saying? And people are like, "What the hell?" But like, all I was literally doing was running from one side to the field to the other and just scoring touchdowns. Like, literally, I would just stop on a dime, just use my speed to go to the other side of the field and just outrun the kids, and it worked. So, um, once I got older, I saw my brother and how he moved, like in between tackles and stuff like that. And then I watched a lot of Barry Sanders too, like
Yep.
smaller back. So I kind of just emulated my style off of what I saw, and I thought if my brother's athletic enough to do it, then I should be athletic enough to do it because I'm his
Right.
brother. Now, it
Well,
was simple.
shout out to Kay, man, because that's pretty
Real.
cool to have somebody in your own household to look up to, and then like you said, being really good young. I don't want to shout out myself, but I won the AAU nationals in seventh grade when I lived
Hey,
here in
let's go.
Harlingen. I was a shot putter, and I remember just so much publicity. I was both radios, both TV stations, all the newspapers. I still have the clip in my garage of some of that stuff. So I can't imagine being at 7 years old to deal with that. I dealt with it when I was 10 or 11. But at 7 years old to deal with that, it probably was special to have your own brother to look up to and see as an athlete. What's he up to now? Is he a coach or what does he do?
So he moved to Dayton, I believe, is where he's at, and
Okay.
over there he's coaching like his kids' football team and stuff. But he's actually a safety man, and he ended up winning a like Grand Safety Man of the Year for like the plants and stuff. Um,
Oh,
so
cool.
like it was a real prestigious award. I didn't even know. I was like, dang, bro, like you're actually out there like saving people and like honestly, like he's just really big into faith and stuff. So like he's out there spreading the word and helping people out and stuff, like literally at work, man. And everybody looks up to him, man. And I could see why. Like he's his testimony, if you would ever get to tell it, like on the lives, like on live session somewhere, definitely something to listen to for sure, for sure.
Yeah, no, shout out to him and respect for him spreading the word because it takes a lot of heart and a lot of patience to do that because a lot of people don't want to hear it that need to hear it. So shout out
Yep,
to him. I wanted to because I mean as a young athlete, I remember a lot of pressure, right? And you were one of the lucky ones to be able to continue from pee-wees to junior high to high school and continue to do it. But a lot of people can't do it. The pressure is too much. Can you take us behind the scenes of what that pressure was and how it affected you? And without getting too detailed in the negative stuff, what are some of the things that you had to deal with as a young kid? Because there's a lot of young kids in the valley that are good, right? And we put, the valley, all of us put people on pedestals, right?
for
And
sure.
it's so much pressure to live up to. At every family barbecue, they're talking about how good you are, right? I remember going to a barbecue, and my dad would be like, "Hey, throw the shot put so that you can show them how." It's part of our culture to celebrate
Yeah.
ourselves. Can you give us a little bit insight of how that pressure was and how you dealt with it? Because I think that's important for young kids to hear, right? How you dealt with it and what allowed you to overcome it.
Um, honestly, because of my competitive family, um, pressure was never something that I had thought of something that would make or break me, if that makes sense. I went through a lot as a kid. Like I didn't have a lot growing up, and I'm not saying that we were dirt poor, but like I definitely know that the difference between a house that has tile floors and AC, and like one that definitely has like one AC box that cools the whole house, during the summer and heats the whole house during the winter. You know what I mean? So, um, for me, it was just knowing that you have to get up every time you get knocked down, and knowing that your siblings have your back, and understanding that the lessons that you learn aren't something like win or loss. It's just something that you have to get better at, regardless of what it is. And that's always just been a driving force of mine. Like I hated to lose. Like it's just my competitive nature just to want to win. I don't care what it is. But like you said, everybody's like that. So what makes me different? I think it was just the obsession that I had to be first all the time. Like
Mhm.
you know how like Michael Jordan like took that personally.
Yeah.
Like I had the same mantra. Like I definitely I lost a race in fifth grade to a guy named Jacob Rocha. I'll never forget. Shout out to Jacob too, man. He's
Fifth
a really
grade,
good.
you remember that? See,
Yeah,
that's a competitive spirit. You remember who you lost to in fifth
yeah,
grade. That's
yeah.
crazy.
And everybody talked about it. Like, damn, like Mishak lost. Like, and I was like, oh, like, and it was only second place. Like what? Like, come on, bro. Like, I didn't even get last. Like, I got second. But like, to everybody, like, that was my last place because I
Right.
never lost. So after that, I was like, oh, like y'all done messed up. Like, there's no way I'm gonna lose anymore. Like, and if I do, then I'm just gonna get better than the person that beat me. Like, I don't care who it is. And and then the funny thing is too, like from an early age, around 10 years old, my brother, his senior year, we went. They would at Weslaco. We had this place at Central called Barbie Field, and we would go and play football. Well, I would watch his friends play football. Him and his friends, they're all seniors and stuff. So I
Hmm.
go over there, and one day I'm like, "Hey, can I play?" 10 years old, man, it's tackle football. I see them play all the time, but they're grown. I
Right.
didn't, I didn't care. Like I was like, I want to see what it's like. My brother tells me, I can't help you. Like,
Good luck.
you're on your own. Yeah, like you're out here on your own. Like you gotta learn how to protect yourself if you're gonna be out here. And he's not wrong. Like if you're
No.
wanting to try, you gotta figure it out. So sure enough, I was like, okay. So I'm out there just, kind of BSing. They're not really taking me serious until one time, like I run like a post or something and I catch it and I score. And it's like over one of their guys, like one of their main dudes. And everyone's like, oh, dude, like, you got scored on by the people, whatever. So the next play, I get the ball. Sure enough, that guy wants to make an example out of me. He grabs me and
Mm.
throws the shit at him. Sorry, throws it
No,
at
you're
me.
good.
So I run and I land. And I'm like, I kind of like wait there for a minute, like, okay, where's the pain? It never
Mm-hmm.
really came. Like it never really manifested the way I thought it would. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, that was it. Like, oh, y'all are in trouble. Like
Yeah.
you can start as you want to. No, I'm good. Like I always knew that I couldn't cry. Like if my sister, like shout out to Nakima, she was a strong woman. We
Mm-hmm.
would always fight. East Coast, West Coast, Pac Biggie rivalry growing up. Um, so that made me really tough. I felt. And sure enough, man, like I was like, dang, like getting hit from my sister slaps like hurt harder than falling on the ground. You know what I mean? And I was like, that's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. So I'm not saying that I did it every Sunday, but whenever I got the chance to, and I got a couple of carries or catches, hey,
Yeah.
tackle me, whatever. I'm not gonna back down from y'all. Um, so it just kept going from there. And by the time I got to being a senior, like there's no pressure. I've taken the worst of what grown men can give me at this point
Yeah.
from an early. You think I'm scared of you now that we're the same age,
It's
bro?
over. Done deal.
I'm about to slide over you, fam. Like I'm definitely on my way to the end zone. And people would always like the allegations were one, I was on steroids. Two, um, I rubbed baby oil on my body before the game, and
What?
yeah, bro, like there were some wild allegations, man, and I was just kind of like, it is what it is. It comes with the territory. But I
Right.
knew that it never mattered to me about what obstacles were in my way or what kind of derogatories people would try to take at me or anything like that because I always knew the game would speak for itself. So
Yeah.
why would I sit there and trash you after I just scored six on you? Like I did my job. Your job is to try to stop me. You're not doing it. Like get better at what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, but again, it's no shade to nobody. It's no disrespect to anybody. I
Nah.
just hope that I was supposed to be the best athlete on the field every time I stepped on it. I don't care who was on it. Period. So
I worry
that's just
about. And I want to hear your thoughts on this because I'm older than you, right? I'm 45, but at my age, the things you said are common to me because my dad would make me play. I was a big basketball player, right? And I had older. I was the youngest boy of four, so I always had to play, even in elementary school, against high school kids, right? At the
yeah,
park or whatever it was. And I worry about this new generation because they don't have those opportunities to play up as much as we did because the neighborhood was full of all different ages, right? You had your elementary kids that just wanted to get one run in, right? You had your junior high kids that were like maybe the fourth team out of the two teams, right? And then you had your high school, and then you had your grown men, right?
yep,
And they would be. I was in Fair Park in Harlingen, is where I lived when I was in seventh and eighth grade, and I remember playing against grown men, like 24-year-old men, and you sharpen your iron, your knife, and you're able to play with these guys. So when you play down to your own level, oh, that's papitas, man. Like what this is light work, right? So I worry about that with the new age people because they don't have a lot of like boys and girls clubs. They don't have like the environment of which to be able to do that. So yeah, it's tough, and I hope that and I think that's going to be something that maybe pulls us down just a little bit with the competition.
yeah.
But with the things you're saying with the in-house competitiveness, your sister, your brother, all that stuff is what built you, right? And I think that is pretty interesting to look at. I did want to talk about recruiting, right? Recruiting is a fun one, right? I wanted to see if you have any cool story or a surreal moment about your recruiting process that you can tell us.
Um, I guess just when it came down to the last day, like. I kind of already knew where I was going, but like just to have the letters coming in, and your friends seeing the letters come in from like big name schools,
Yeah, that was
you know,
fun. I remember that.
it's just paper after paper, like, hey, like we're interested, if you want to take an official visit, be sure to, let us know or get in contact with whoever, so we can make it happen, or things like that. And I only took one, and it was to Texas State because I
That's
again I
it.
had already that was it. Like
Oh,
I didn't really have to go anywhere. Like I could have gone to LSU, USC. I could have gone to like a
oh
few of
yeah.
those. Um, it just wasn't on my radar. Like I wasn't a big party goer. Like I didn't really. Granted, Texas State was a party school, but I didn't go
Yeah,
there.
it still is.
Like, I was just a bonus. You know what I mean? I really just went to make sure that I was playing football. Like that was my goal. And the day before, um, Leach had called, and he called from Texas Tech. This is
Yeah.
right before everything went down, and he had asked. He's like, "Look, we had a full ride jump ship." He's like, "You have been on our radar. Would you like to come? Full ride or whatever." Looking back on it now, I still would have chose Texas State anyway.
Interesting.
Because I got to play. Like I didn't Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, all these greats were seen
Yeah.
from HBCUs.
Yeah.
You think I'm
Yeah.
worried
They'll
about
find
where
you.
you think I'm
Yep.
worried about where I'm at? Let me get a good combine in. That's it. Like that was it. You know what I mean? So um to be frank, like my recruiting process, granted it probably could have been way more glamorous, wasn't very wasn't very hard. Like it was extremely simple for me. It wasn't like the first bird that came, but like I went with what I felt was best in my tuition to go. And sure enough, I still feel like I made the right decision because look at today. You know what I'm saying? Coach Bush is extremely successful. I had a really successful college career, in my opinion. Um,
Mhm.
there wasn't. I feel like I had a down year. I was actually getting better every year. So it just goes to show, it's just all about your work ethic and what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's, like you said, the Terrell Owens of the world. I just talked to another player. He talked about Khalil Mack, right? These guys
Yeah.
are, it's not big time schools, but it's people that put the work in, put the stuff on tape, and they're in the right situation for them.
Yeah.
And I went to a commuter school and I got lost at a commuter. I couldn't imagine going to a big school because I was a knucklehead. So sometimes
Yeah.
big schools don't mean big and good situations,
Yeah.
right? So I think you did what's right for you. I wanted to ask about kind of the Valley pride, right? What made you most prideful about what you were doing about representing the Valley? Was there a moment that you're like, man, like I feel good about what I'm doing because I'm representing the Valley?
I think it was the game against San Antonio Madison, my high school career, my last game.
Mm,
Uh, it was just like a come to moment, like a full circle moment, I guess. Uh, because the teams that you play against your whole like career, you don't you don't think that they support you that way. But I kid you not, Roy, like
they're all there.
man, like the different colors that you see around like the stadium at the time. I don't know if you've been to
Yep.
Weslaco Stadium, but it's beautiful. It wasn't like that 2 decades ago almost. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like
You're
half the
dangerous.
size almost. But they literally had bought stands from the junior highs and put them around the stadium. And even at that, there was still standing room only. And then at that, there were still people watching from the big screen outside that couldn't get in. So like
What?
my promise, bro, like college atmosphere, think like the UTRGV type stuff for a
Yep.
freaking high school football game. Like you don't get that every day. And that to me and for people now to this day, like shout out to Deontay Wilder, um, but like to this day, like they're like, hey, like I remember that game, like, and then their kids are like, well, I wasn't very old, but I remember my dad taking the game, and I'm like, dang, like that's pretty cool, I guess, and to know that I'm a representative of something like that, and for them to remember like all the stuff I did in one year of football, like, granted, it's an accumulation from my sophomore year for sure, but like not everybody saw that. You know what I mean? Like
No.
people saw it. So like for everybody to see that in one season and like hold on to that for this long, like it's cool and it I appreciate it. I always do. Um, but if you ask the next person, I don't really talk about it much unless people ask me about it, and I always feel kind of weird talking about it because to me, I was literally just playing football. Like I was
Right.
just doing what I knew I had to do for the team, and it just so happened right place, right time, right scheme, and the rest is history. So you know, um, and a little more fun fact, and I just found this out like a couple of years ago. The single season like total that I had for that year is like top 200 all time in high school football history. I didn't.
Dang, that's wild.
I had looked at that stat maybe like 2 years ago. Granted, now it's probably changed, but
Yeah.
at one point I was like at 100, like 20th, I think. But just to have that stat alone to be that high up on that list, I thought that was pretty neat. You know what I mean? Because of all the high school guys that have come through here in the country for how long? So
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Now you mentioned Madison, right? And that's another kind of special thing and great thing about the Valley is where like Brownsville Vets a couple years ago, right? Where they played against Corpus Christi Miller.
Yeah,
And you're right. There was San Benito was there, Harlingen was there, McAllen, Edinburgh, all these schools that you thought were competitors all went to the game to watch the team that represented us. You know what
yeah,
I mean? So that doesn't happen in California where I'm from. Like I'm from Oceanside, and Oceanside's great. They've had a long history in Carlsbad. We have Julian Sayans, went to school at where I went to school, and but it doesn't follow that way. Like if Carlsbad goes to the state championship, you won't see all the different cities go around them. So that to me is a big deal. And I think that makes the 956 so special, which is why I want to celebrate it, right? Is because we all come together for one common goal, but we're all together. And that's the
yeah.
good thing about our culture. Kind of closing it out for me, Mishak, what's life like now? I know you talked about F-45 and that's your passion and pure speed training. I see a lot of posts on that, and I am happy that you're doing that. What's life now? What do you focus on? What are you determined to do? And what are you doing for the next generation right now?
Just like you said, man, just training the next, crop of athletes that come out and the next ones that come out after that, and, hopefully for the future and beyond. Um, it's really for me just giving back, but knowing that like you have the credentials that like back up what you're doing because you kind of did it too. You know what I mean? So like
Yep.
these drills aren't just drills that I picked from YouTube and decided, oh, hey, like this is gonna help. Like I literally have done these before, so understand. And my athletes are always like, coach, like, how do you do that like that, or how come I can't do that this way? And it's like, well, this is why you're here. You're here to figure that out. You know what I mean? And I get extremely mechanical. Like I'm not about trying to see who's the fastest. I'm not about trying to see what you do the quickest. I want to see what you're doing wrong so we can make it
Right.
right and then bridge the gap like that you're trying to bridge so you can be that ultimate athlete that you're looking to be and unlock the speed that you feel like you have. And it's not just for a sport. Speed is universal for every sport.
Oh
So you
yeah.
have to literally like work your mechanics to get better at it. And some of these kids will come to me like, Coach, I can't do it. No, you can. You just have to be taught, and that's why I do what I do now. It's there's no better feeling for me at F-45 or when I do pure speed training than seeing somebody happy doing something once. Like for instance, like one of our clients did a box jump, and they're like, I never thought that I'd be able to do one, and for them to be at an older age to accomplish something they couldn't do in their youth, like bro, like why wouldn't you consider for a moment like that? You know what I'm saying? Not only is that like a physical boundary beaten, but that's also mental barrier broken. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it does something for them. And it's the same thing for kids. Like if they can't jump a 20-inch box jump the first week they're here, but then a month later with me at Pure Speed Training, they jump in, they're like, I couldn't do that before. It's the same type of feel. Like the accomplishment is there because you see it all. And I just want to be a vessel for people to come to when it comes to getting their athletes right and when it comes to just bettering yourself as a person, because that's what's needed nowadays. Like enough with the hate, enough with all the negative energy on the social medias and the wars and stuff. Look, man, like if you guys are just supportive of people, you won't see the negative that's going on. You'll see all the positive in the world, and it's really a beautiful place. You just got to put yourself in the right place, man, and that's why I do what I do because I know that it definitely helps people for sure.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for that because you're doing something that is going to help more than you think, and I know you know it, right? I said the same thing to another coach, and they have to see people like you, right? They have to see people. I want to say me because I was a college athlete, right? They have to see people in the real world being successful, being good men, right? Being good role models because all of us are going to be former athletes one time in our lives, right? And it hurts sometimes because I wish I was still an athlete. You're more in tune than I am, but it's special what sports does for people, and even if you're not an all-star athlete, the camaraderie, right? The people you grow up with, represent
Yep.
your hometown, putting Weslaco, putting a jersey on, that stuff is going to live with people forever. So I want to say thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for doing this with us, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like I said, it was on my bucket list, and I most definitely want to get you back on, man. We'll talk sports, and I
Heck
plan
yeah.
on developing. We're doing a lot of first-time interviews now, but my plan is to get people back and just talk about subjects, whether it be track, right? Let's talk about the indoor championship. Let's talk about that. So if you're willing to do that, man, we'd love to do it. But I want to say thank you for giving us the time. Any final words from you?
Nah, man, just hey, God bless everybody out there. If you gotta believe in something or someone, man, believe in it. People that go through, men especially mental health issues. Look, I'm here, man. I mean, y'all may not know me, and you ain't got to tell me your backstory. But if you just need somebody to listen to, or just to hear, or something, man, I'm reach out. And even if it's not me, let it be someone.
Yep.
Women too, like everybody. Depression is real, y'all. Stress is real. Don't ever think that you go through that by yourself. We're all parents. We're all, adults. Even the kids go through stresses, man. Y'all look out for each other. Ask questions and be vulnerable. It's okay for you to be vulnerable. That's why
Yeah.
other people are here to help you guys out. You know what I mean? But again, man, just love yourself like you would love the person next to you. And if you're like, well, I don't love anybody, then this is where you start because you definitely have everybody has a soft spot. We just got to make sure that we keep that in mind and keep yourself first. Always try to be happy. And when you're not, you don't know the answers, ask questions. Closed mouths don't get fed. So be sure that you're always on the lookout, still learning no matter what.
Man, I couldn't have said it better. Appreciate you, Mishak. I'm going to stay on after, but thank you, man. I appreciate you, brother. And we'll definitely be tracking, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Take
All right,
care. All
man.
right.
You
Be
too,
safe.
man. Take it easy.